Hello, welcome to Search with Sean, and this is a follow-up from the EEAT video I did quite recently, which explores what EAT is and how to optimize for it, the common mistakes, and so on. So yeah, similar to what I did with the structured data schema example video, I've got a few, like I say, examples to go through from some of the kind of top publishers out there on the internet, plus some other examples I've thrown into the mix. Just like the schema one, these are just ones that I've come across, that I've heard about, that do it well, or things that could be improved. So I haven't picked them out for any particular reason. And also there's loads of other examples out there that are doing really good EEAT. And also it's important to stress that no one does it perfectly. It's an ongoing thing. And like I said in the other video around EAT, it's kind of like a mentality. So something to think about when you're doing any form of sort of optimization or content building, website optimization, UX, that kind of thing. So yeah, you're not going to find the perfect sort of example, but I have put some together that we can discuss. They are very, like I say, very quick examples. So I'm not going to go into great detail about them. And there's loads of examples of practicing EEAT online on your website and so on. So yeah, just wanted to put that into context. So let's delve into it. And like we did last time, let's explain actually what EEAT is. And it's an acronym created by Google, which stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And like we said before, it's not a ranking factor, but rather a component of Google's search quality evaluator guidelines. So it's still very important. There's no real ranking factor around the actual thing itself. So yeah, we're going to the first example. And as you can see, it's Healthline, who is probably the pin-up of all EEAT whenever there's examples out there. And this is just, like I say, I can't go into the whole website and all the different elements because we'll be here all day just for one website. But this is just the footer example. So as you can see, like with the newsletter, they talk about their medical expertise. They also link to a couple of important pages on the site. So privacy policies, advertising policies, content integrity page, which we'll go into. So these really important pages around trust and letting the user know about how they put things together, how they protect their users and so on. It's really important. The next example, again, from Healthline, and this is across their articles. And again, it's all about trust and showcasing their expertise. And you can see on there, there's like a evidence-based tag. And if you hover over that, it explains basically their processes and how they review their content and put it together, which is really important, especially for this type of content. And also they have like an author-based feature there in terms of who's medically reviewed it with links to their bio and who actually wrote it in the first place and the date and stuff. So these are all really key elements, kind of fundamental EAT, I guess, but really important. And not every website does it. So again, they're doing that really well. The only thing with Healthline, they are doing fantastic in terms of EAT, but they do cover such a wide range of topics that, in terms of relevancy and stuff, they might find hard to tie all that together, but that's a whole different matter, I guess. But yeah, one that a lot of people use for EAT, so it's worth exploring the site for yourself. And continuing on, Healthline is for, like I said, the content integrity page, which talks about their approach to content creation, how they do it, why they do it the way they do it, how it's all medically reviewed and so on. And this really underlines and explains to users that they take a careful approach because it is health-based content. And obviously after COVID and and all kind of misinformation around the internet, then it's important that websites like Healthline that people go to for health advice, explain these processes. And the next example is one, again, people use a lot for EAT, and I will call it EAT because I'm not going to do the whole thing every time. But a lot of people use this example, and it's GearLab. And, a lot of websites have been recently affected by doing reviews of products and services that they've never actually used or had in their hands, or, whatever, actually tested the product in person. So they've kind of explained and made clear that they have done that. So if you go on to the next one, they talk about how they test the shoe, the processes behind it, the testing approach, who's done it, that kind of thing. And I think this is really good because, if you want to buy a product you really want, and you are going to look at what's better than the other, these kind of articles are great, but you actually want to be sure that they actually have done it, actually have used the products themselves and not just read, because anyone could read stuff on the internet, compile it together into an article to kind of build some comparison between the products. But this is actually showing they've actually used the products themselves and put together analysis. The next one is Qatar Airways. I mean, again, very important sort of industry where trust is needed. And here there are a couple of things here that stood out to me. Is one, obviously the accreditations they have at the bottom, saying all the awards they kind of won for world's best airline. So that gives you a sense of trust that they are award winning, and you're more likely to go with them. And they got social links, being quite open about how to connect with them. And again, in that same mindset, a feedback form, there's a clear feedback form, so users feel they see something, and a problem with the website or the information on it, they can feedback that to the company. So yeah, it's really kind of, they seem simple, but again, people sometimes win awards and they don't actually highlight it that much. And also they may have social channels, but they don't highlight it enough. So people think they can't get in touch with them via social, which a lot of people prefer to do than if they can't call them, for example. And also feedback forms, if you have it, kind of shout about it. I know it's extra admin work if people get in touch, but it's only going to make your service and your website better, really. So the next one, obviously I have to talk about Macmillan, because that's where I work. I'm the SEO manager. And yeah, so in terms of, we have the PIF Tick, which is an accreditation which showcases that we have trustworthy medical-based content. So we have to meet certain criteria and to make sure we can get this and update the content regularly and be medically reviewed. So we talk about this, how it's all the process, the criteria we got to meet and that kind of thing. And we're trying to showcase that across the site to give that sort of sense of trust that our medical content can be trusted by users when they're reading it. And there's a sense of, again, I feel we could publicize this more, and we are working on that actually. And that's the thing, like I say, if you have these kind of things, you may think it's quite fundamental. Like if you own a restaurant, you got a good health and safety certificate score, you may think, well, that's for me really to know. But actually users do care about that kind of stuff, because in that example, you want to eat a clean and secure restaurant. So, and in this sense, obviously you're going to read information around cancer. You want it to be strictly regulated and to be going through these processes. So it's important actually to highlight them and make sure they're seen and not just hidden at the bottom of the page or on certain parts of the website that can't really be found. And the next one, obviously we've had him on recently, James Brockbank, and is around digital Loft. And again, about us pages, I know it's time consuming. And obviously when you do like author bios and people that work at your company, but it is being very transparent. Who's doing the service, who's looking after, who's the managers, who are the senior leaders, who are medically reviewing the content, who's, so it's just being transparent about who you are and what you do, how long you've been doing it, showcasing your experience and your expertise. So yeah, he's got a really good example on the website showcasing his history, his education, his published articles, and his experience in the field, talking at different events. So it's just one example, but again, they do it really well. So it's worth looking at those. And also you link through to those from the different pages that he has been getting, that he's involved in. And obviously, like if you have authors that are linked through from blogs or articles and so on. So next one is BBC, and this is something they've introduced recently after all the kind of, like I say, the COVID stuff and the election stuff and the misinformation. They brought out this BBC Verify, which was like a whole sort of new feature that they've introduced around how they explain how they verify the information, the data that they say on the news, that they share on the websites and stuff. So again, it's being very transparent with the users. Again, you haven't got to go to as much detail they do. It's a large organization, but again, it's just full of transparency, and it's worth checking out, at least if you could do it on a smaller scale, just to really show, especially if you're involved in data or news or whatever, it's a great way to showcase how you're putting stuff together, how you're qualifying certain data and putting that out to people. The next one, CNN, again, very simple things, but they obviously have the author bio as well. You can click through to the journalist, and we'll see that in a minute. Social links, sharing links, very transparent around times when it was updated, and also the reading time, again, making it good for user experience. And as you can see, there's like this bio, and if you click into read full bio, it goes really in detail about her experience, her what she's currently up to, just about her her career and what she covers and why she's a specialist in different areas that she covers. So again, it's just underlining their experience and their authority in the market, and their just sending out trust signals to the users, because anyone could write about anything these days because of the tools we have to hand. So you want to be sure that the people that they're using actually have the experience in the field and the knowledge. And it's another one, a really good example of EEAT, actually, Aviva. And again, because of the market they're in, it's really good to showcase these trust signals, and they showcase the awards and the accreditations that they've achieved and that kind of thing, and explain kind of the benefits and what it means and that kind of thing. So yeah, they do a really good job. So that's definitely one to check out as well. And they also make it very easy for the user to get in touch with them. There's a call us free signal there, as you can see, and also request a callback. So very good user experience there. Nestlé, again, a very good example I've came across in terms of EAT. Again, because of the products they sell, they're talking about how they ensure quality and safety of their products and explain that in different documents and pages throughout the site. They also go into other things that affect the user, because that's what you got to think as well. Your service or your product may affect your users in different ways that you may not think of initially. So just explaining what you're doing in the sense of these areas and how you're making sure you're doing the best job in those particular areas as well. So obviously they cover environmental, sustainability, health, nutrition, as you can see, human rights. And that's been very transparent, very clear. Obviously they've got a very detailed overview of everything, but you haven't got to go into that great detail. You can have just one page on how you're tackling these things or similar things. But yeah, it's worth checking out. Nestlé, very good example. And again, they've gone to great lengths here, but we all know about the benefits of case studies and stories. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's going to be very beneficial to talk about experiences from your customers, your clients, your staff, and they cover a whole range of things from communities to individuals and families. But you haven't got to have a whole big hub over it, but make sure that you do have some of these in the right places on your website, for sure, because they set you apart. They make sure that you're being, other people want to see similar people like them who have used your service or your product or your information and what they got from it. And yeah, it's hard work putting them together. But you can do video, you can do audio, you can do just text, and it's such, like I say, it makes your content unique, but also it's a great way to make sure you either get a conversion for your product or service, or you kind of just give that sort of trust in terms of that you're doing the right thing for the user. Yeah, this is the uni I actually went to, but I didn't do them on purpose. It just kind of stumbled upon it, really. But again, they just show different things that either partnerships they have, which is really great. If you've got great partnerships, it's worth shouting about. Again, it's that trust level. So it's definitely worth shouting about partnerships you have, achievements, awards, that kind of thing. Even if you think the user may not be that bothered by it because it's a uni, well, would they really care? Well, yeah, because many types of users use your website. I mean, obviously it depends on what industry you're in, but most of the time there'll be a whole range of users, and different users want to see different things, obviously, and they may think that one may be more appreciative of awards and one may be more appreciative of partnerships and so on and so on. So it's worth including those things. And again, it gives the search engines that sort of element of trust and giving the right signals to them as well. And again, we said about case studies. Manchester Metropolitan University have a whole range of different case studies. And again, it just kind of showcases the importance of these. Doesn't matter what industry you work in. Showcasing case studies is a great way of showing that you are one of the, you know what you're talking about, you're doing a good job of it, and that people trust you. And last but not least, I had to include myself. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I did try my best to be as transparent about everything from the start. So, where it's filmed, when it was, published and put together, who I am with the key social links, my pronouns. I've got all the links, everything I discussed on the video in the description and that kind of thing. I think this kind of highlights that it's not just your website where you can implement EEAT. You can implement on your social channels. When you post something on LinkedIn, make sure that you reference and you give credit to whoever if you've taken that information from elsewhere. And the same with YouTube. I think if I'm talking about something, I shouldn't take credit for that. I should be telling people where they can go to read more about it and follow the person and that kind of thing. So I think it's very important to do that. And it's a great trust. And obviously, on YouTube, for example, they're a Google-based product. So I think Google will definitely appreciate that. And they've kind of gave those signals already that they do consider that with YouTube. So yeah, it's this is a very quick roundup of examples. I want to do more of these kind of example videos. Like I say, I'll put a link to the one for schema and structured data examples. And if you want to see more of these kind of things, even for EEAT, if you want to see more examples, do drop me a comment and I'll try and do more. And if there's anything else you want me to do these kind of videos for, again, drop me comments or just contact me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to do that. And do make sure you subscribe, because obviously we always doing all sorts of videos at the moment, SEO and AI news videos, and also interviews and chats with different people in the, experts in the industry, and also more of these kind of all about videos. So there's lots going on. I've got loads more planned as well. So please do subscribe, and yeah, have a good day.